It shouldn't be good, but it is. It's a 19... Settle down. Yes, it's 1970s Martin, dreadnought, that are notorious for having problems. And I'll tell you about those in just a second. I want you to hear this guitar first. 1974, ooh, in the heart of the dark times, when Martin was, still recovering from still in the middle of the folk rock boom, recovering from the folk boom of the 60s, in the middle of the folk rock boom in the 70s, when they were cranking out guitars like crazy. Quality control slipped. Oh, but that's just the way a Martin should sound. Hang on, let me make sure signal is going out. We got it? It looks like we do. Very good. All right. Off we go. Big, rich D18 sort of sound. And take it from me. And seriously, dude, take it from me. I played a D18. It was my first good guitar. It was a little earlier than this. It was a 67. But this reminds me so much of, if it's out there, if anybody's got a D18, check your serial numbers. I'd love to know where it ended up. 232192. Why do I remember that? Because it was my first good guitar. Do come on in. Enter and sign in, please. Let's see here. Where'd I go? Hang on a sec, folks. I'll be right with you. There we are. Come on in. Hi there, everybody. Stevie Coyle here at Mighty Fine Guitars in Lafayette, California with the Friday Noontime Webcast, TMR. Big bass. Now, this is a guitar that by a lot of people's lights shouldn't sound good. Mine as well. Boy, I see that big blue plastic Martin case from the 1970s, what they call the Steel Me case, because it said Martin right along the side, conspicuously in chrome letters. I see those come in and I think, boy, I'm going to have to be that guy on Antiques Roadshow that says, it's not a Stradivarius, take it home, enjoy it with your family. It's not what you think it is, but you go enjoy it. Have a lovely time. So that's typically what I think when I see one of those blue cases come in, because it's going to be a 70s Martin, which is the dark times. But this is a good one. It's got the big rosewood bridge plate, which typically doesn't sound great. This sounds great. And the best part of all, arguably, is this guitar in this shop, and for a Martin guitar, any Martin guitar that plays great, is really inexpensive. $2,900 is the asking on this. I gotta back up. I said I gotta back up so I don't overdrive the mic. Set up for bluegrass. It's set up stiff, so you can hit it hard like that and it won't rattle. Now, for a native fingerstyler like myself, the action is up. But for a bluegrasser, it's right where it needs to be. Well, you may ask, you Martinophiles may ask, how's the saddle? The saddle is down. There's not much room left on the saddle before it's going to need a neck reset. But that's years down the road. And here's the thing. People complain, rightfully, about Martins from the 70s, but if you don't play anything but first position, as a lot of us do, you never come out of first position, maybe up the neck to the 3rd fret, something fancy up here. These are the fancy chords up here. It's not a big problem. The intonation, the problem, I haven't outlined what the problem was. Martin was putting the bridges on in the wrong places, and that affects the string length, which means that as you move up the neck, the notes up high here are not going to intonate properly. They won't sound in tune, even against the same string. This one, the intonation is really good. A stopped clock, right twice a day, that whole story. Oh, sorry, I got distracted. The bridges were put on the wrong place, which means intonation is not great. You're pretty good in the first 3 frets. So if you just play in first position all the time and then capo and play in first position, capo and play in first position up against the nut or the capo, you're fine with a guitar that doesn't intonate properly. This one, again, does intonate properly. That's right where it ought to be. Comments and questions? Hey there, Scotty. Nice to see you. Michael Propson was watching. Tune on in. And folks, do feel free, watching live or after the fact, do feel free to pass this along. Hit that little share button and send it off to people you think might be interested in mighty fine guitars. In Lafayette, California, thanks for asking. 20 miles due east and only slightly north of San Francisco. That's just right. Oh my gosh. And this really does. I'm getting a big kick out of this because it reminds me so much of old 232192, the first good guitar I had, which was a 67 or 60, a 67 Martin D18, just like this. A D18, for those of you that don't know, and Scotty you know, and Michael you know, of course, means mahogany back and sides. This guitar is in great shape, and a spruce top. Big body, dreadnought body. Martin named their biggest model at the time after the biggest ship in the British Navy. Not sure exactly why, but they did, and that's the dreadnought. So this guitar is very large. If you are not a large person, you should perhaps consider a guitar that is somewhat smaller. Or if you play standing up all the time, doesn't matter. It's just that not only is the bout really wide, the lower bout really wide, a little tough to get your arm around, and really thick. The body is thick. But the waist is wide, so it sits up high in your lap. So that's the thing. But bluegrassers, y'all stand up, pretty much, and move around the mic. pretty close. Pretty good for muscle memory. Yeah, how about that, Michael Propson? A mid-70s D18 with decent intonation. Wow, accidents will happen. It's true, you know. The story goes, I've heard various stories, that somebody, whoever was placing bridges on tons of dreadnought guitars in the 70s, was using some sort of ruler thing made out of wood that somehow got shortened. And I've heard also that the jigs that Martin was using at the time, they kind of forgot that the jigs they were using to place the bridges as they were gluing them to the tops were made of wood and were wearing down. So the intonation got bad because the bridge, and therefore the saddle, where the critical bit happens, were put on the wrong place. Not an issue. Like I said, if you play out of the first 3 frets, you'd be fine. And for a guitar that sounds this good, when the time comes, if it's during your lifetime, totally worth getting a neck reset on this thing. But it's not there yet, and it's got many good years of service before it needs a neck reset. What it is, but I'd know a Martin. I'd be really hard pressed to articulate what it is, and talking about sound is ridiculous anyway. I've heard, and I think it's probably true, that there are 2 terms in English that are native to sound, and that's louder and quieter. And just about everything else is an analogy, a metaphor, a simile. But there's something about a Martin guitar, something in the low mid-range maybe. Help me out, folks. What do you think? You know a Martin when you hear it. But what is it that you're hearing that distinguishes it as a Martin? That's my question for you. What a sweetie, $2,900. Martin D18 from 1974, but it's good. It's a 1974 with an asterisk, which says it's good. So come and get it. It's in great shape, low mileage, and it's pretty terrific. And 1974. It shouldn't be good, but it is. Thanks for tuning in, folks. If you got any comments or questions, stack them up down below here. Sounds like the Hubble telescope problem. That's right, David. Yeah, good analogy, good analogy. Yeah, they just got the measurements wrong. Somebody somewhere, somebody or buddies were using devices that were incorrect, that had gotten worn down because they were made of wood. And it is nicely balanced. It's big everywhere, Michael Propson. It's big in the bass, but it's big up top as well. It doesn't fall off anywhere. There's no holes in the sound. It's a nice even spectrum across, and it's all big. It's all above 0. That's what I have to say. Stack up your comments and questions down below here. Get to them as quickly as I can. I'll be bouncing this over to the Mighty Fine Guitars Facebook page, and then to Instagram, and then to the YouTube channel, Stevie Coyle Music. Do feel free to jump over there, because that's where all of these end up. Facebook used to let you post videos like this, and they would stay up there forever. But nowadays they're saying, nope, 30 days, that's what you get, and then you got to find another place for them. And I knew that was coming. I'm just surprised it lasted as long as it did. So you can always find these reviews, these little Friday noontime webcasts, over there at Stevie Coyle Music, all one term, at YouTube. So I'll see you one place or the other. Tune in next week. God knows what's going to walk in the door. I just sit here and fabulous guitars walk in, and I feature them and sell them, and come into the shop if you can. I'm closed Sundays and Mondays. I'm here Tuesdays and Wednesdays, but just for lessons and appointments. If you want to make an appointment to see guitars all by yourself, you can do that on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. But I steer those around lessons. But then I'm open Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. Thursdays and Fridays from 10 to 6, and Saturdays from 10 to 5. So stop on in when you can. It'd be great to see you. Thanks a lot, everybody. Your pal Stevie Coyle here, signing off. Ta-ta.